It's time for some game time decisions. I'm Steven, then Stefan. That's Andrew. Ohio State playing in his third top 5 matchup of the season. It's one step closer to getting to the Big Ten championship game for the first time since 2020. These are the things that we think are going to decide the game. And most of these weeks it's just been, hey, what do we want to see from Ohio State? Well, now it's like, what can decide a football game, Stefan? What do you want to see from Ohio State? What is one factor that might decide the game on Saturday?
I'm going to go very out on a limb here. I want to see what
I'm not going to let you do that. No. We're going to continue this conversation. No, I'm saying, go ahead.
I want to see what the interior of Ohio State's offensive line looks like now that center Seth McLaughlin is out for the season. We talked about it on our last video. Carson Hinsman moving to center. Austin Saraville stepping in at left guard. Guys that we all have a relative amount of confidence in can step up. And we've talked about how this might not be the sky is falling type injury for Ohio State, regardless of how important Seth McLaughlin was to this team. But this is going to be a tough test for Ohio State because Indiana's interior defensive line, honestly, defensive line as a whole, is a very good unit. Put up really impressive numbers in Big Ten play. Their non-conference schedule wasn't really much. And, you take the Big Ten schedule that they have with a grain of salt as well. But overall, the numbers say something, right? Like this is not a team that's like weak schedule. They're one of like the 20 best defenses in the country. Like this weak schedule, but they're still one of like the 5 best defenses in the country according to a lot of numbers. And it all starts at the defensive line with them. Ohio State likes to run the ball. They like to establish a run. Chip Kelly loves to establish a run. That is going to be tested against an interior offensive line that is makeshift. I mean, honestly, a left side of the offensive line that's makeshift. Indiana is going to try to expose that. They're going to want to see early on what can Ohio State do here. So whether it's pressure on Will Howard or just Ohio State, establishing the run early on, that's going to be tested, and I think it could be what decides this game.
Andrew, what's the size of the game?
Well, just real quick, I think you're right. I think there's going to be like a John Taffer bar rescue stress test by Indiana in the first couple of minutes.
I don't know what that means.
I think basically what they're going to do, Steven, is they're just going to cause a lot of pressure on the interior and the new parts of Ohio State's offensive line to see if they can hold up, and then I think you can settle into your game plan. So, yeah, that's the obvious one. The thing that I'm looking for here is Indiana is not the best passing attack. Oregon or
they're the third best passing attack.
I think
ahead of Oregon.
I think I still would take Oregon over Indiana.
Even though the numbers say to take Indiana.
Yes, I'm taking Oregon and their skill players and their quarterback.
Curtis Rourke's the highest graded quarterback in college football.
Yeah, I know. I still think Dylan Gabriel's better.
Dan Lanning, love over here.
Thank you, Steven. I'm surprised I'm actually going to get to finish the sentence here.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I figured you were just going to take
I had to do it one more time.
But Ohio State's secondary, the last time we saw them play a really pass-happy, pass-efficient team was Oregon. Oregon was really, really good at stretching the field on Ohio State. We kind of talked about it all week of like, hey, Oregon just loves these quick hitters. They're going to try to get the ball out quick. We talked to the players that week about how important tackling in open space was. And then Oregon just basically said, no, we're good. We're going to go over the top. And Denzel Burke did not have a great day. The entire secondary did not have a great day. It's just the whole defense did not play well against Oregon. And that kind of stemmed from the issues of they couldn't defend the pass and they couldn't get after the passer. So I want to see how these corners hold up against an Indiana passing attack that is very efficient. Curtis Rourke is a very good quarterback. He's one of the best quarterbacks in college football. They do the little things well, Indiana does. And I think tackling in open space is a really big deal. Ohio State defending is going to be a really big deal because we haven't really seen that kind of test since Oregon. And the last time they took that test, it did not go well for them. So we'll see how Denzel Burke fares. We'll see how Davison Igbinosun fares. Can he cut down on the penalties? Can he, show that he can be that physical corner that we know he can be without the penalties, without kind of making those mistakes? Can Denzel Burke step up? Can Jordan Hancock step up? This is a really big week for Ohio State's cornerback room because if Indiana comes out and plays well, that, like in passing attack, that is how Indiana keeps this game close. That is how Indiana maybe wins this game. And it would not give you a lot of confidence in Ohio State's secondary moving forward if they don't play well against Indiana. So I am keeping an eye out on that.
We just watched Denzel Burke and Davison Igbinosun for about an hour and a half after practice. Still out here working on that stuff partially because they need to get better at it, but also because they're going to play an opponent who's going to test some of those things, especially on those back shoulder throws. I want to see Jim Knowles and Chip Kelly, and what have they not shown us yet? Because these are the games when you have to pull that stuff out. Jim Knowles has been blitzing more and more and more by week. I wonder, are there new wrinkles that he maybe hasn't shown yet? I want to see a blitz package where you send Lathan Ransom and Caleb Downs at the same time. I want to see if the Jack takes the field against Indiana. This is not a game to hold any of those things back. And I do feel like there is a chance here. Indiana is very good. They also have not played anybody who can overwhelm them the way that Ohio State's defense can overwhelm them. And what happens if you take away a team who is good but hasn't been forced to go away from their number one punch? If they can just jab, jab, jab. What happens if you got to add in a combination? What if you got an uppercut? What if you get to the 6th round and your jab's not there anymore? And I think Jim Knowles has an opportunity to take away Indiana's go-to move in this situation and see if they got a counter or if they have a response from that. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. The great Mike Tyson once said that. And on the other side of the ball, I've already watched Chip Kelly scheme around the offensive line in a game against a team who had a stout defensive line and a game wrecker on the edge. So I'm not concerned about his ability to do it again at all. In fact, if he does, he's going to do it again, and I think Will Howard is going to play better. That combination of Jim Knowles, maybe there's some things they've been building on that now we see a more polished version of it. And on the offensive side, Chip Kelly and Ryan Day have already shown me they can scheme around a problem, and also maybe you just get better quarterback play. Things could get ugly on Saturday, and I'll wait till my game prediction to show you why I think they might get ugly on Saturday. Get the text 614-350-3315. 2-week free trial, $3.99 after that. Go listen to Buckeye Talk wherever you find podcasts. Andrew and Stefan and Steven. See you later.